Ad Astra. It's right up ahead, but let's make sure we weren't followed first.
I've been keeping watch, Demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone suspicious thus far.
Very good. But let's not let our guard down for now.
I shall find rooms for our respected guests.
Thank you, Malus. Now, let's continue, traveler. With the wind. With the wind.
This is your base? It's not quite what Paimon imagined.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances...
Well, our funds have been a little... After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone. But if you have the support of the people...
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge a few years ago.
Your father... He was...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me to...
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And my father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful. 3 years ago, he was accused of murdering his own friend. But he chose a duel to defend his honor, instead of standing trial. He died in the duelist's ring.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer. I'm sure he was set up. At the time, I believed that if he only stood trial and was duly investigated, something amiss. But strangely, he not only requested the duel himself, that even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, 3 years later, how could he protect his honor if he's dead? If any, the closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you...
That's right. I've also tried to investigate the murder my father was implicated in. However, I believe that if the murder case is related to those behind the disappearances, I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when giving birth to me. And now, here I am investigating his death. You really are a handful, aren't you, Papa?
Demoiselle, please. If there is any...
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet all it took was one murder case for him to be dubbed Callus the Unfaithful. Even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances.
Wait! If Callus was such a good man, wouldn't...
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. It's not something exclusive. People love watching the evil turn over a new leaf, but they also enjoy watching good...
But how could... never mind.
There is one other thing. Master...
Oh! Her? Well, then... isn't that as good as saying that she was the one who killed him? Yeah. That's not the sort of thing that you can just let...
Miss Clorand has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. She knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing how he was resolute, there was only a...
It's not that I don't understand her at all.
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel.
Afterward, Miss Clorand told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she ensure Demoiselle Navia's safety. Yes, that is our
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you to ask the person who killed you to take care? All right. Anyway, that's the information I wanted to share with you. Even if it did sound like I was just complaining towards the end. Thanks. You two should go and...
Yeah!
Please, relax and get some sleep. We will...
Paimon slept so well, huh? Navia?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them off here, but never mind that. When did you...
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vache.
Wait, so you didn't...
How could I after having such
guess Paimon was...
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does prove that this Vache person is a key witness in the incident.
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No. There is one ray of hope. One place in Fontaine that they would find almost impossible to threaten, no matter how much they wanted to. And that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. A place where detailed files on all the cases in recent years are kept. If the Oceanette you met is one of the young women who went missing recently, we should be able to find some related information there.
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working chief. In that case, let's go talk to him!
No, it's nothing. The palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
This place does look pretty heavily guarded. Guess that proves that Nervalet's files are really secure.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't care who you are or who you...
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Paimon can tell.
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you to...
No. What I meant to say is...
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a...
Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official
All right then, I'll let you through. The Chief Justice is just inside.
Thanks so much.
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalet. We only
It's all right. Please let...
So you're...
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find...
Ah, I see. In that case...
Who knew that Nervalet would be so easy to talk to?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vacher has been involved in any case, criminal or civil. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was really just a dream?
Is that so? All right then.
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how you feel. Your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional...
And what are you trying to say? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? Or just express some No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. You only said those things because you felt like you should. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, you even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to go ahead. In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Why did you just let him die? Just everything was hanging on a thread at that moment. Just the time. There are still so many things I never got to tell him. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes.
I'm sorry, Miss Navia.
You and my father are truly alike. It's not so much that you can't feel, but that you would never express any... Oh well, In any case, everyone, my apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia, are you okay?
I'm fine. Rick,
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building?
now that I think of it, on the day my father was...
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait. You...
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? And then got washed away with the rain? Yeah! And if that's what had happened...
I really think I found a true genius for a part... All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind...
Yeah! We're gonna make progress!
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head... Great. Let's go.
Whoa! What a huge ship! What?
There's no need to be so surprised. My father was the one who asked for it to be built like this. Perhaps our tastes in exterior... A gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless...
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di... Paimon was confused why a group with such a history would... But now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself...
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all.
Come on!
Go! Phew! Huh? we're back!
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle, and our most... You said before that you still had some business at the court.
About that. It's because my partner here reminded me of something you still remember, right, Malus?
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible murders.
Could you tell us a bit more about what happened?
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain popularity. At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and...
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be used to produce some...
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects. And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety, while as he oversaw Poisson, my father was compelled to put a stop to synth abuse.
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth.
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealer. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret, and the man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange information with... But then, we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father.
Huh? How did that happen?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious, but neither appeared to have any motive at all. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. Precisely. It's all thanks to you that I made the connection now. Back then, we all just thought they were some costumes, but, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But my intuition tells me...
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. I think this third person is probably... On that note, however, even though our opponent is insidious and cruel, they are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life trying to bring them to justice. Even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory, there is no need to follow your father's path.
If that's indeed what he wished for, then he should... Was I not the closest person to him? And yet, what was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Did he manage? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is barely getting by. Nothing has changed. Did he think I'd just accept his meaningless death and live out my life just as meaninglessly? I've never accepted that, ever. I want to find out the real answer for everyone's sake. For the missing girls, for the victim.
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears...
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between synth. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him that he had... And the serial disappearances case cost him. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right, so...
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time,
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the unfaithful was still far preferable than losing face in front of his daughter.
So he chose to die?
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol, but a soul. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer for the sake, I'm sure he'd be
That fool. No. He might have set up everything precisely because he never thought I'd be able to understand him. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where I am now? Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things up, if I had wanted, but thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. In this case, he really didn't... Malus, what was the key evidence that he...
It's the location where synth is produced. Essentially, when he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics. But if you want to use it against the enemy...
Why? If we know where the place is...
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization. There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. But a single visit to their headquarters would be... The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed. But also...
Then, in that case...
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case.
That's true. But things are different now. It should be a lot easier to prove the other side...
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into this, Malus.
I am the butler, after all. I live but to... I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets.
Thank you for all of that, Malus. Have you just...
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that when I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately... If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them... After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, the first is Florent.
Huh?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, there's someone else like him too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. Boss helped it to grow to its... In the beginning, they were only reselling some daily goods, but now they're one of the richest...
So, they're like a sister organization of Spina di Rosula?
Yes, you can say that. When we were fighting against the synth dealers, they provided us with plenty of support. It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between... Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities...
I see. To think that the enemy we've been fighting against has been right next...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry.
Of course. And...
You're too kind. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence... After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit.
Oh, thank you so much, Malus.
a new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together to uncover the truth.
It is settled, then. Please excuse me.
Thank you for arranging everything. Excuse me, miss.
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time.
Ah, if it's about that, There's no need to apologize. After my husband died, Spina di Rosula sent us a lot of mora and support. I understood your guilt and apology to be genuine.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques? I can understand the kind of pain that...
You don't understand it.
I didn't know how to face you. Because I didn't know what I could possibly bring. I know only the full truth.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the sentiment, but you don't have... On the matter regarding my husband, my daughter and I have...
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't believe that my father...
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the synth. He had many regrets, and felt that he took the idea of providing for his family too literally. For the longest time, So when Mr. Callus came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so...
They found out about...
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I shouldn't.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later that I realized it was his final farewell to the two of us. I don't know that for sure, but you could say that... Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callus had always taken... Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely...
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man, so why did he have to do a bad thing in the end?
Well, things aren't always as they seem.
Yeah, Papa was a really good...
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will
Thank you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really...
You really think so? That's the first time anyone...
Are you okay, Nadia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Florent should be nearby, and we should be able to find Thierry and Uncle Marcel in the city. I'll get myself together on the way, so please don't worry.
With the wind.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about what happened at the Opera House. Someone got turned...
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic,
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with my father, after my partner here put the dots together for me, Can you do me a favor and try...
Let me think. Mr. Callus was... After that, he told us that he wanted to go get some fresh air. My first reaction was that Mr. Callus's life was in danger. So I grabbed... But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callus was standing over a dead body with a gun in his hands.
So you also remember 2 gunshots?
Indeed. The guard said that the first shot didn't hit anyone, while the second killed Jacques. But I've never really bought that explanation. Reason being, Mr. Callus had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns about the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a third
At least from our perspective, my father had no reason to kill. So he would also have no reason to bring in the gun he was holding. Probably belonged to Jacques, or a third person on the scene.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callus ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine? And chose instead to prove his honor in a duel? Did he lose all faith in the courts after seeing someone dissolve right in front of his eyes?
About that, Malus told me a thing or two. So, I think I can I'll tell you everything, once the whole truth has been revealed.
I understand. Then, I'll leave Mr. Callus's honor in your hands, boss. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callus the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in... Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callus, even after so many years have passed. But it was Mr. Callus's trust that allowed me to rise through the ranks of Spina di Rosula and live no matter what others might say. He'll always be the man I respect the most. And he'll always be my boss.
Don't worry. I will definitely find the truth. You and all our other comrades at the Spina deserve to know the truth as well.
When the sun's out, bathe in sunlight. But when the moon's out, bathe in moon.
Hey, Thierry! It's me!
Oh, now, what brings you here, Miss Navia? I've heard that you made quite the name for yourself at the Opera House.
Oh, so you've got news of that already.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the Guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callus did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions in my way. It would be next to impossible for me to find a similarly easy but high-paying job in the city. Anyway, enough chit-chat. Are these two friends of yours?
Yes. These two, what happened at the Opera House, made us realize that Linny's case and...
Ah, I get it. You think there might be more to the case now that we know people can be dissolved into water, right? If you want to go through the original files from your father's case, I can help you look for them.
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have...
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask? We definitely can't use them to forcefully get more evidence for your father's case.
Well, you see, just recently, we were... So... if you, hypothetically, wanted to do something against me...
Then you think too highly of... If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of your mind. Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex... So I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though, being...
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, jokes aside, I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find me if you...
Hello. How may I help you?
I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let him know? You can just say, no.
Sure. I will let him know right away.
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young...
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Marcel. There's no... I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what happened in the opera house.
Yes, I've never...
Oh, you were at the opera...
That's right. I went there with Navia to see the magic show. Who knew? I also witnessed her marvelous sleuthing work. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf. I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine...
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk of drum...
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is.
Uncle Marcel, you've also noticed that other thing, right? The fact that humans can dissolve?
Yes. I was reminded of your father's case right away. Is that what you're investigating next?
Exactly. I still don't have much solid proof, but I can sense that the other side has...
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Arrhenius by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also an attempt to get me to drink water from the primordials. If not for the vigilance of my partner...
Oh, you're giving us too much credit.
Alas, it seems things are heating up again. The peace that Callus... But rest assured, Navia, Poisson will always remain a safe haven for you. If anyone dares to lay their hands on you there, the confrérie of
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into... Do you have any new thoughts on my father's case?
About that. Sorry. The confrérie was responsible for that banquet, so I was out and about the whole time. Then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest was...
Oh, it's okay. No need to push yourself. We'll ask around some more. See if there...
Sounds good. Just let me know if you ever need... All my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much...
Go! Go! We've talked to all three suspects. Purely...
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Callus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstances.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he... If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused...
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as...
So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his... Makes sense. But without evidence, that's still just a theory. Besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit as well. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of...
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since... But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Thierry, you say? Huh, but... I didn't feel like he was lying.
Yeah. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out what...
Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the confrérie, still really... Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his... Florent? It is true that he was closest to my... But... As Spina di Rosula's advisor, his...
So you're saying he's too broke?
Exactly. He can't. Who could it be? You know, if you think
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judge, the suspect, is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch... Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. We need far more solid proof before we can hope—
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking—
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the—
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trial?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartag—
What?
Yeah,
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit.
Wait, how? None of our
That's what I thought was strange about it. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right. Because they'll think they've already found—
Yeah. And it'll be a—
I understand. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just as since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprits— You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to—
we'll help you, just like you helped us in Lenny's—
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Malus, Silver, when—
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson. It's our hope that your confidence will be—
Thank you so much. Then—
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance.